Welcome back. Let us talk about phantom bill supply type in the current session. Reducing bill levels is nothing but phantom bill basically. In the what here we are gonna assemble or produce or manufacture Mahindra Thar Jeep. My assembly is Mahindra Thar Jeep. So to assemble to get the finished goods Mahindra Thar Jeep, as usual we need to define the bills, what are the components required or assemblies required to get this assembly done. So I have taken Thar chassis, nothing but skeleton, radiator, battery, axles, doors, brakes, clutches, engine and so on. We can't take everything here because we are just trying to test it. So that's what. So these are the components which I have defined. Okay. Generally what I do is, what we do is we get the engine from the supplier. Directly Thar engine will be supplied by the supplier and we will receive the Thar engine. Whereas Thar engine will be supplied by the supplier and we are gonna receive the engine from the supplier directly. Whereas for some specific reason we ask the supplier to supply the parts or components or sub-assemblies of the Thar engine. We want to assemble the Thar engine internally, so we ask him to send the parts of the Thar engine. Okay. For that what we need to do is, we need to create a bill. Why do we create a bill called phantom bill for Thar engine? And one more thing is, like, generally for Thar engine there are n number of components or parts available. So if you want to define, it's a huge task in the sense it will show the bill levels will be shown like 50s, 30s, 100s. It will be depends upon the number of parts available. We need to add each and everything at my standard bill. Okay. So in order to handle that scenario, what I do is, I'll create a separate bill as phantom bill. Under that phantom bill will be named as Thar engine, and under that I will be adding all the components of the Thar engine. Okay, I'll be adding all the components of the Thar engine. So this is okay. I'll be adding all the components of the Thar engine, and later on what I do is, once I created the Thar engine phantom bill, I'll assign this to my standard bill, and I'll assign this Thar engine to my standard bill. Here I will not be having any stock on Thar engine. Okay, I'll be having stock only for the Thar engine parts. I'll be maintaining the stock because I received the stock for parts or components whatever I have received against engine to manufacture, that will be received. So I'll be having stock of this. Once the discrete job is created, when the more transactions are taking place, thing is like the components which whatever the parts or components or sub-assemblies which I have defined under Thar engine, that will be issued. Okay, that will be issued for further process. So what I did is, basically thing is like, there won't be any stock against Thar engine. We are receiving components against the Thar engine, so whatever the components required to build a Thar engine, that will be having the stock. Okay, and just to make a note of it. And the thing is like, first what I need to do is, already I have done it. In order to reduce the time, I have created a finished good. I have created an item at the item master called Mahindra Thar Jeep, and applied a template called finished good. Okay, and applied a template called finished good. Further, against that I have created few more components, as I mentioned. For standard bill I have created few more components like Thar chassis, Thar radiator, Thar battery, Thar axle. Okay, these are the components which I have created, and I applied the template. Purchase template has been applied, and organization assessment has been done, and stock creation has been done. 500 I have created, and even refined the rate as well. Item cost through rate. Similarly, now I need to create a phantom bill actually. For that we need to create an item first, then we need to create the sub items. Now we need to create this. Okay, before that what I have done is, I have like before that, in the sense, for reducing the time, I have created already valve, spring, fuel injector, stroke, piston. These are the items which I have created. These are the components which I have created already in the system by applying the template, purchased template, and even the stock has been created and even the rate has been defined. So now the rest, final thing what we need to do is we need to create an phantom bill item at the item master. Let us start creating the process. Let me get into the application. Here, here one of the major point is like we create item at the item master, like a phantom item. We create an item at the item master, phantom item. Under inventory tab, stockable and transactable should be disabled, and the organization assignment should be done. And we need to create a phantom bill along with the components. We need to create a phantom component. Yeah, we have done all this. And yeah, we need to create. Yeah, for this already I have created. Thing is like we need to create an item at the item master called with the phantom template created under inventory tab. We need to check stockable and transactable should be disabled. Then this is done already. Organization assignment will be done. That is done. Like phantom components are nothing but raw materials. We must create components. Phantom components are nothing but components belong to make an assembly for phantom. Nothing but these. These are phantom components actually. Components of phantom. Okay, components are phantom. So components of phantom, organization assignment should be done. Stock should be created for these items at a raw material store. Then we need to create a phantom bill, and then we need to assign the phantom bill to the standard bill. Under material control tab, we can see supply type and sub inventory, and then discrete job creation, and rest of the process will be same across all. So let me try to create a item. First what I do is I just go to work in process. I'll just go to bill of materials. There is up to now there is no bill created, standard bill. There is not even a standard bill. So what I do is first let me create a standard bill. Let me create a standard bill. Let me create a bill named Mahindra Thar. Mahindra Thar Jeep. Okay. Mahindra Thar Jeep is the final finished goods which we got from order. So we are gonna produce this, and components belongs to Mahindra Thar needs to be defined. As I mentioned, standard components needs to be defined. These are my standard components. Thar chassis. And then Thar battery. I'm creating a standard bill. Thar axle, and then Thar radiator. Thar radiator. So I'm adding all the components. One battery, one radiator is required per assembly. Chassis is one, axle is one. I have defined one. So even I have engine. As I mentioned earlier, I'm not taking engine directory from the supplier. I said you send me the parts of the engine, so I want to assemble the engine internally. Okay, so what you do is go to material control and you see the separate of them is assembly pool. Okay, separate of this one is assembly pool, and sub inventory. I'm selecting sub inventory. I have stock under this assembly, under this sub inventory. If it is not defined, then automatically, even if the sub inventory is not defined here, then system will check under WIP parameters what are the inventory we have defined, that will take. If in case, okay, just save it now. What happened, I have created a standard bill. Now what we need to do is we need to create a phantom item. If you want to create phantom item, you should go to the inventory responsibility. Go to inventory, items, master items. What I do is just see here, I'll be having an item. I'll just take Mahindra Thar engine. Okay, take Thar engine as my Thar engine. I'm just naming it as Thar engine. So we need to apply a template of Thar. We need to apply template called Phantom. I applied a template called Phantom item. It got applied. See, once the primary unit is defined and saved, will not be able to make change of it. So it should be clear, and before seeing it, if you want to make some changes, you need to make change of it. Go to inventory tab. It is taking a time. Under inventory tab, we should make stockable and transactable should be disabled. Stockable and transactable should be disabled. Earlier these two are enabled. I just disabled the same. Now save it. It got saved. Now go to organization assignment and define the to whichever organization you require, you disabled it. Okay, now what I have done, I have created a item at the item master by applying the template phantom item, and under inventory tab what I have done is this is main for phantom bill. Transactable and stockable has been disabled and organization assignment is done. Okay, there is no need of defining stock for this, because Thar engine, I am getting the components of the Thar engine and I am assembling it internally. So close this. Okay, now we have created a standard bill. We have created an item for Thar engine. We have created a phantom item as Thar engine, and we have done this part. And already I have created components belonging to Thar engine. I have created these items by applying the template purchased, and I have created even stock and defined rate as well. Okay, now what I need to do is go to WIP responsibility, and go to WIP responsibility and go to bill of materials. We need to create a routing for this. Mahindra Thar Jeep is the final finished good which I am gonna build. So against the bill of material I am creating the routing now. What I do is I'll select, I have to assemble all the components. I'm not taking like I'm just taking simply, I'll just say check and check and rework. This may not be really how it will be at the production end. To just for testing purpose I am taking few operations here. So you will be able to see when it got created. Under WIP you will be able to see automatically everything will be loaded, and operation yield and echo description everything will be fine. So I have 3 operations defined here sequentially. Okay, so just save it off. Once it got saved, then what we need to do is we need to create now what we need to do is we need to create a bill. We need to create a phantom bill. Initially we have created a standard bill, then we have created a phantom item at the master, then we have created a routing. Now we are creating a phantom bill. Then we are creating a phantom bill. Tar engine is the item which we have created, so we need to add the components here. So let me select the components whatever I have defined. Then next component is fuel injection. Next component is stroke. See, there may be hundreds of components, but to implement this I'm just taking few components here. And the next component is final component is piston. Remember, all these components are created as purchased components. So all these components has been created here. We need to define the assembly. For one assembly how many is required, so I just mentioned 111, and you can define a number of components. I have taken this many components. Date effective will be at the date of creation. Okay, and components details will be able to see these are the purchase details, purchase item, and the item is accessed. Under material control will be able to see the supply type of these assemblies, all are assemblable. And that's it. Now what I need to do is just save it off. If you want to define, you can define the now what I do is I just define the store. We need to define the store from where I have the materials, from where it needs to be picked. If it is not picked, as I mentioned earlier, it will be taken from by default whatever the sub inventory I have defined under WIP parameter. From that it will pick the items. Okay, now what you need to do is save it off. It got saved now. Now what we need to do is we have created standard bill first, then we have created a phantom item at the master, and what we have created a routing, and we have created a bill of material against phantom. For phantom material we have created tar engine. And one more thing what we need to do is all these components assembling of engine also taking place in the first operation during assembly. If you see under my routing, first operation is what it is, and my first operation is assembling the components. So my first operation is assembling the components. So assembling the component during my first operation itself, I want to assemble all the components belongs to tar engine. So what I need to do is we must define define this bill of material as well. Now what we need to do is we need to yes, now what we need to do is go to your standard bill, go to the standard bill, filter the standard bill which we have created, Mahindra Thar. Okay, and what we need to do is we need to assign the component here. We need to add the component. Thar engine component needs to be assigned. Once it is assigned, here the quantity will be 1 only. We'll consider it as 1 only. Okay, because engine is engine, even though it has a number of components to build that engine, engine is engine only, one engine only required. And we must define the operation, under which operation this component, what are the component I have, that will be used. What I do is assembling of engine also taken care at the first operation. All will be taken care at the first operation only, but what I do is so okay, this is how I define. Other than radiator I am saying that rest of the other components will be for namesake. Okay, for testing purpose I have taken in such a way, like battery and radiator will be check and rework that has been assigned in the second operation, that has been will be assembled in the first operation, like that I have defined. And we'll be able to see, the material controls we'll be able to see here. And there is no I'm not defining anything. Why? Because under the phantom bill I have defined the sub inventory, so from there automatically the components will be picked. Okay, save the same, it got saved. Okay, it got saved. Now what we need to do, we have to create it up over here. We have signed, you can see supply types and sub inventory defined of each. As I mentioned here, if the sub inventory is not defined, then what will happen, it will pick from WIP parameter setup whatever the sub inventory, mandatory sub inventory defined over there, that will pick it. If the stock is not available, then it will become negative. Now let me create a discrete job against this. The process, the management process same across all, like how we have done it for operation pull, assembly pull and all. Let me create this discrete job. What it is, WIP OMFC Phantom. Okay, OMFJ Phantom, and take the assemblies Bajaj Mahindra. Like for easy understanding purpose, I am taking general things. So what I do is I just define the quantity as some 45, and by default it will take the date of it as current date. So based on value only we can, as I mentioned earlier, we can define supply types at item level and discrete job level and bill level. Leave it as it is, based on bill only I am doing it. And routing, what I do is I'll just define the routing sub inventory here. It should be stored under finished code, and you can define the tolerance percentage over here. Let me save the same. It got saved. What I do is I just copy paste the name of the job and keep it here, and then initially this job, now the completion that got automatically loaded here based on the lead time. Now status of the job will be changing. I'll change the status of the job to released. Once it is released, then we will be able to make a production for the same. In unreleased is nothing but it is available to update all the details of it, but will not be able to make any production. So once it is released, then it is active for production. We will be able to release the same for production activity. Now click on operations so that we will be able to see the operations we have under which and quantities against each operation. As I mentioned, we need to produce 45, so it is showing here 45, and I close this. On selection of components, we will be able to see the components. See here, fuel injector, piston, stroke, valve spring. These are all the components belonging to Thar engine. If you remember, we have created an item called Phantom Bill. As I mentioned, under the Phantom Bill, I have added these four components: fuel injector, piston, stroke, and valve spring. So instead of Thar engine, directly I will be able to see the components of it here, and we will be able to see the operation it belongs to it next to it. Thar radiator, for namesake, what I have done, I have added Thar radiator and Thar battery will come under second operation. Rest of the components will be coming under first operation, and we'll be able to see the department which handles. And go to quantities, we'll be able to see the quantities required to implement this. See, these are we have this much stock and what is required and what is open. And go to supply side, we'll be able to see the supply types of all of this. So this is how it takes. We can have multiple combinations also here. So what I do is close this. What I do is close this. What I do is close this. Now we need to create a move transaction against this. Here what I'm doing, I am transferring all the components from operation 1 to 2, and from operation 2 I am transferring all the components to operation 2 to move. What I do is I'll just push only 30 components out of the 45 available components and just save it off. Here, as it is assembly full, until the entire operations are completed, it will not generate any WIP issue. So now what I do is just go to discrete job and check. Just go to discrete job and check the status of it. Select the components. See, there is no issue created. Why? Because it's until the entire assembly entire transactions are completed, it won't create an issue. And you just go and click on components so that you'll be able to see the quantities assigned and the status of the components. 45 components. Initial operation has been completed, and 45 initial operation has completed 45 assemblies, and then it has been pushed to next operation, and 15 are on queue, and 30 is completed. Okay, now what I do is I'll do the next operation. So what I do is I'll just push the components which I have in my queue to move. I'll push all the components to move. From second operation queue to second operation to move, I am transferring the goods. Now if you select the job again, then you will be able to see the available quantities at each level. So entire first operation is completed, and second operation is completed, and the 45 sub-assemblies are in my second operation, and the left is that operation which we need to do. So select here, and what I do is I'll pass all the components which are in my second operation to queue in the third operation. Save. Okay, so now what I need to do is, now if we go close this, go to discrete job, go close this job, rest of the process will be same. Select quantities, nothing, because it's the complete process yet to be finished. Operations, status of them. See, now what I do is I'll just create an complete move transaction. Complete move transaction will be created now. Transaction types are move, complete, and return. By using Phantom, I'm returning a component Mahindra Taj. What I do is select complete and say select this, and what I do is select. On doing this, what will happen is automatically save it. Once it got saved, now what will happen is automatically, now if you check, issued quantity will be shown at my discrete job, and even WIP issue will be shown. WIP issue will be shown, and even status of the job will be completed. Two transactions will be generated. One is WIP issue, and the other one is completion will be auto created. See, the status of the job is complete. Is this job right? Phantom, status of the job is complete. Now go to components and check the status of the quantities. Required issued is open, become 0. And now if we go to my issues, and if you go to the issue, view move transactions, on selection of this view material transactions, and what I need to do is I'll just say job or schedule, and if I select here, this is done, and then we'll be able to see finished good. This will be WIP 45. Stock available right now is 45. On selection of this, you will be able to see negative quantity. Okay, and we'll be able to see completion and issues. That's it. Let us talk about bulk supply type in the upcoming session. Thank you.